Well, hello, David. Well, thank you ever so much for joining us today and sharing your project with our other customers.
Pleasure.
Yeah, can you cast your mind back, David, to when this project was just a figment of your imagination? What were you trying to do, and why did you go ahead with it?
Well, for various reasons, we had to sort of fairly rapidly downsize properties. And we went for a bungalow, but it was quite small, and we wanted to put a large extension on the back, which we went ahead and did. And the extension encompasses a through large area of kitchen, dining room, living room, all in one large space. We wanted lots of light in it. We've got several windows around, large bifolds into the dining living room area, and a reasonably large lantern above the kitchen area. And we were delighted with this when it was all done and we moved in. And then we came to the first warm weather and found that as it's all south facing, the temperatures rocketed, and even with the bifolds and all the windows open, it was still uncomfortably warm. So at that point, we started looking around to see what we could do to get some shade of the area through the roof lantern. Did some research on the internet, as everybody always does. We actually had quite a lot of problems in getting a company that could provide us with a fully electric retractable roof blind without the wires. We didn't want the wires showing at all. That would actually come to our area. I'm in North Yorkshire. A lot of them would only do a certain radius around their base. And then I came across Window Treat, who seemed to fit the bill, and looking at their reviews and their website would come up all the way from Basingstoke, I think you are, all the way up to North Yorkshire. So at that point, I emailed you, gave you a rough outline of what we wanted, and things went on from there.
Yes, so yes, you do have a very large roof lantern. So I often liken it to a performance sports car with no brakes. There's no controls. They're beautiful, let the light in, but you can't stop it when you need to. You can't stop that intense heat. Um, so the truth is, and you don't have a fuse spur as well. I think you mentioned earlier. So you had to factor that in. So how did that conversation with Chris go? Can you remember how it went?
Well, initially it was, I'd have preferred to go for a hardwired unit. But having had a chat with Chris, we knew we had the alternative of battery powered solar unit. Um, I got the electricians back who actually did all of the electrics first and second fix in the property, and they knew exactly what the construction of the ceiling over the kitchen was. And unfortunately, on three sides of it, we've got fairly hefty RSJs in. And the electrician said, whilst they could get power up into the roof lantern space, it would be quite messy and quite destructive of the roof and side walls. So, given that we'd only been in 9 months, I really didn't want the ceiling ripping apart. So we decided to go for the option of solar and battery. Um, we've got it in and it's working absolutely fine. Very happy with it. But anybody considering one of these, always worth running a spur up into the roof lantern space, I would suggest, even if you just cover it off and never use it. But if it's there, you've got the option, you've got the choice of the two alternatives.
Oh, fantastic advice. Thank you. And actually, so a bit of background about your blind. It's actually quite a sizable blind, and it's solar battery as well. So
Yeah.
and that's a pretty new development in the world of electric blinds to be able to go to this size with a battery solar powered combination blind. So this is the battery version of the Athena, the Zeus. And do you recall what size recess you've got up there?
I think we're about, it's 2.5 by 1.5, I think, somewhere around that size.
Yeah. Yeah, so it was the intense heat that was the main issue. Um, has has this blind solved the problem?
Oh, it has. And the day it was fitted was probably one of the last few days we've had sunny up here, actually. Um, but it was fitted in the morning, and by the afternoon, with the sun that we got on that day, we would have expected it to be up to 28 or 29 degrees in the kitchen. Um, and by the end of the afternoon, when we got the blind closed, we were down at 23. So it made quite a significant difference. We've not had so many sunny days since then, but the temperature has never got up when we've had the blind closed to anything that's uncomfortable. So we are delighted with the effects.
Well, I'm glad it's sort of met that brief, your most important brief of keeping that wonderful space you've built cooler and
Mm.
more comfortable, more usable. Um, yes, and the advice from Chris, first of all, let's start there. How did you find that process? Did you look at any other options?
Um, we had seen the option with sort of honeycomb pulled across on wires. We disregarded that even before I spoke with Chris, because given the fact we've gone to the effort of putting the lantern in and it's that lovely open space, we didn't want wires running across. I would find it distracting from the visual aesthetics of it, if you like. So it was a question then of what options we had with the electric blinds. And Chris went through several options. And in the end, we decided that this was going to be the best option for us, given the size. We had some discussion on exactly what material we wanted. We didn't want a complete blackout. We wanted to be able to let sunlight through. And he suggested a particular material and even sent us a little sample, which was great because my wife wanted to see exactly what it was going to look like. Um, and it does very well. It lets enough light in that even when it's closed, you really don't notice that there's a significant reduction in light. So great combination.
Oh, thank you. And the survey and installation process, how do you find that? He said it was done in a morning, the actual installation.
Yeah, the survey was done very efficiently. I think it was Martin and Brian, father and son team, lovely chaps, came along, arrived when they said they would, measured everything up, no problems at all. And they were the team that came back and fitted. Um, a bit of an awkward fit in that we've got an island unit directly under the lantern. So they brought various steps and planks of wood and managed to get everything set up, fitted, no mess whatsoever. Lovely guys. Couldn't praise them enough.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. And before I ask you to retract close the blind and open it, which is probably what our customers really want to see as well, having learned about your project, would you be able, well, I've got one important question, David. It's would you recommend Window Treat to friends and family after your experience with us?
Absolutely. No hesitation whatsoever. Just make sure they've got power spurring.
Thank you. That's music to my ears, David. And now's the magic moment if you've got your remote handy.
I have. We will give you a go. No. And of course, you've got that nice option that if you still want a bit of sunshine incoming, you can stop it halfway, third way, wherever you want. Um, Back again. We've had several visitors in since we've had it installed. They've all been very impressed with what it does and the quality and the fit. So highly delighted all round.
Well, thank you ever so much, David, and actually allowing our customers and me into your home virtually to take a look at this and hear the story of your project.
Pleasure. Thank you very much for your service.